Hello, my name is Ben PM. Welcome to Nightbreed Metal Radio. I've got 4 excellent bands for you in this video. Later in the show, we'll be talking to Aussie legends Battlesnake and Sam Bean from Werewolves, talking their new album. We're also talking to Sammy from Goatwhore, but up first, drumming legend Dave of Municipal Waste. Dave Witt's played in so many great bands, and we have an awesome chat. Here he is. This is Dave on Nightbreed Metal Radio. So obviously, Municipal Waste is making their way here shortly, which is exciting. But I wouldn't mind going back way back if that's cool. I read that. Yeah, cool. I read your Uncle Victor introduced you to drumming. Is that right?
Indeed, he did.
Yeah, cool. So how'd that come about? Like, what kind of bands and drummers were you listening to when you're sort of starting out? You know?
Well, he's a really great blues drummer, and he's got what I like to say is the sickest shuffle in the game.
Oh, yeah.
He's very good. He gave me my first pair of sticks. And I was sick when I was a kid. I had this weird disease called Guillain-Barré syndrome, where it attacked my central nervous system, and I was paralyzed from the neck down for quite a bit. Yeah, so he gave me sticks as therapy, and here we are today. That's the short version of it. But on the other side of that, my Aunt Mary, which is his sister, gave me my first 2 cassettes. One being Men at Work, and the other one being The Pretender's Greatest Hits. So those were my first cassettes into music.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's cool. Good stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So what got you into the
collection of stuff back there?
Yeah, I got my toys and things. Yeah.
And I like how it's named Nightbreed because when we were younger, a friend of ours worked at the movie theater and snuck us in. And we saw Nightbreed 5 days in a row.
Oh, fantastic!
Great movie.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome, man. Talking movies, like there's so many Municipal Waste videos and songs and everything. It's all very movie-based stuff. Do you guys watch a lot of movies on the road? Like,
oh yeah, totally. Nick's the DVD king, we like to say, because when we would be on the bandwagon in the States, we would stop, and Nick would buy a lot of used or cheap bargain DVDs at truck stops and stuff like that. Yeah. And then Mark Burr, our sound guy, has like an endless database of movies too. So there's no shortage of film watching on the bus.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Well, while we're talking movies, the music videos you guys do, lots of them have a very cinematic narrative thing going on, like The Fatal Feast and Slime and Punishment, Electrified Brain. What kind of input do you guys have in that as a band? Like, is there a conversation that goes on? Like, oh, what about this? What should we try this? That sort of stuff.
Yeah, the people who we work with, who are really great people, the Fatal Feast we did with Dave and Allie, and the other stuff we did with Norman Cabrera, who's a famous monster maker. He's been working in Hollywood for years. We give them our ideas, and they're into it, and they have suggestions as well, but it's pretty much band-driven, band-focused.
Yeah.
Ryan's good friends with Norman, so that's the connection started with him.
Yeah, awesome. And
great people to work with, very chill. They listen, and they're totally professional. Both Dave and Ellie and Norman.
Yeah, cool. And the Headbanger Facebook video, you've got all the trauma clips and costumes and stuff. How did that happen? Were you guys in contact with Lloyd Kaufman or anything like that?
Yeah, you know what? That was a really long time ago when we were in Earache, and I forgot the fine print on that one.
Yeah, sure.
But I think Earache reached out to them, and we were able to do that. And we had Kabuki Men and Toxie up in there, and we were able to use the stock footage of the famous car crash that they use in all their films, and they put us into there, and that was a really fun thing to have in there.
Yeah, it's awesome. I read, going back again, I read that your band Human Remains formed in high school. Is that right? Like, you guys got together originally back then?
Yeah, at the tail end of high school. That was like I was in 2 bands. I've never not been in more than 1 band at once. That's
cool.
My cross there. At that time, I was doing a band, Human Remains, and another band called Well Aware. But Human Remains was the first band to become serious and record stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. So, how did you meet other like-minded musos in high school? Like, obviously now the kids can just get on an app or whatever, but how did you guys get together originally,
Well, there wasn't many, first and foremost, and you could just like kind of feel people out in the hallway. And I know Jim, who I started Human Remains with since 3rd grade, so that was easy. and we started going to shows. We met other people, but I'd probably say the most important person in my high school upbringing is a gentleman named Don Poling, who he turned me on to Cryptic Slaughter and Venom and Slayer and Celtic Frost. And, yeah, I went over to his house. He's like, "Oh man, do you like Metallica? You got to hear this stuff." And it like totally changed my world. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. Can you remember back then, like, as you were playing drums and everything, right? What was the first kind of, I don't know, faster or heavier song that you tried to kind of nail while you were playing?
Oh man, for the years I wanted to be Lars Ulrich because let's be honest, Lars Ulrich was the man. He made everybody want to be a drummer. He was the metal drummer. Like Metallica, my whole room was Metallica posters, and half of them were Lars.
Yeah.
And when I could play Battery or Dyer's Eve or anything like that, I thought I was the man. You know, that's like first things for me. And then I found out way more extreme stuff after that, and it just intensified as it went along. But Lars was the man. I wanted to be Lars.
Yeah, cool. Your band Discordance Axis. I read that you guys mostly played shows in Japan, right?
Yeah, we did 3 Japanese tours rather. Played one show in California, one show in Richmond, Virginia, where I live now. Funny enough, that was my first time here actually, and mainly New Jersey, Boston, and New York, and that's pretty much, and Philly, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, is that just where the crowds were? Yeah.
Well, no, we kind of burned out before people understood what we were doing. We always had small crowds, and towards the end, people were kind of paying attention, and then then it was over.
Yeah. You played in bands with so many like different styles, like Birds of Prey. Like going into something like that, do you have an idea in mind of what kind of speed or groove you're thinking of before you kind of sit down and start jamming, that kind of thing?
Not really. Well, yes and no, because Eric Larson, who also lives in Richmond, and he drums for that band Avail, and he was in Alabama Thunder Pussy. We were spending a lot of time together back then. He's like, "You want to do a project?" So he would send me skeletons of riffs, and I would just put whatever I thought would come to it. We'd get together and then hash it out that way, and everybody would add everything on top of it. That was a fun project. It was some cool stuff.
Yeah. And another project, a bit more recent, Morbicon from 2020, like a Black Thrash thing. What was the chat there? Did you guys have some bands or eras of metal that you were trying to kind of capture,
Well, that's big. Pretty much Phil's love child. Like he came up with it over the pandemic, and he started writing, and he was playing me some stuff, and I think I said, "Yeah, I want to do that," or I pretty much think that's how it went. But wound up doing the record with him, and it really turned out great. It's a great record. I'm really happy with everything. It sat for like 2.5 years because we did over the pandemic, and it came out in like 2022 in October, and then the next year we started playing shows towards the end of the year, and we've done 40 I don't know, almost 50 shows this year already.
Yeah, I watched footage of you guys playing at Spirit in May. So that's cool that you guys are still playing. Do you think we'll hear any more recordings from Morbicon anytime soon?
Yeah, the second record's almost completely demoed out. I mean, it has been, and it's just going through, changes now. Now that we have some time off after this Australian tour, we'll have a bunch of time off. We'll get in a room and start rehearsing it as a band.
Yeah.
And see where things go over there. That's where things really start to take shape and fall into place, I think. Like I like to play things until they seems old.
Yeah.
And then there's no pressure when you go in to track it.
That's cool. Being on the drum side of things, like obviously you're doing what you feel fits right and stuff, but how often are you like, oh, how about we add an extra half a bar here or something like that? Like, do you ever have that kind of input, like changing the structure?
Yeah, that's pretty common actually.
Yeah.
Pretty common, and also on the other side, like someone will offer a suggestion that I would never even think of, and it could be better what I'm bringing to the table. So I have no problem with that at all. I'm all about being a part of the the bigger picture. And like the first Morbicon record, there was a bunch of ideas I wouldn't have necessarily thought of, but I just played along to, and it worked out really good.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, Municipal Lace, you've been playing with Municipal Waste, what, 20 years now? It's kind of a long time, man.
Yeah,
Like,
funny, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Phil and I joined in 2004.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Has it obviously there's been like slight lineup changes, but mostly it's the same crew, right?
Yeah, since 2004, it's been the same gang except for when we added Nick
Mm,
and when we became a five-piece in 2017, I believe that was.
mm.
Excuse
Do,
me.
no,
Yeah, it's the same,
yeah,
same formula, man. We work very well together. We know one another very well. You know, it's easy at this point.
yeah, that's awesome. So Tango and Thrash came out in March. It's a great collection of songs based on Kurt Russell movies. Did was that how was the input for that one? Like you guys, was anyone like, oh, we have to do this movie, that kind of thing?
Yeah, Tony and Ryan were all. That's before Phil and I joined the band. That's some really early stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay.
And Phil and excuse me, Tony and Ryan have been, you know, wanting to do that for quite a bit of time, and it finally came together.
Mm.
It's cool because when I first heard the band, they got me so excited. I wanted to, I was like, man, I'd love to be in that band, and then it wound up happening about a year later, which is totally funny. So I enjoy all that early stuff. It's great. And Brandon Farrell, R.I.P. What a great drummer! Holy moly!
Yeah. Um, Outside of music, I heard you run a vegan food truck. Is that right?
We did. My lady and I had a food truck, and then we had a brick and mortar, and then the pandemic wasn't very kind
Yeah.
to us, and
Okay.
there was a window available, so we walked through it, and that was that.
Yeah, sure.
Got out
Uh,
of it.
Yeah, fair enough. So no
It was
more.
fun, but we did it though.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, because I like beer a lot, and so we would mainly set up at the breweries, and everybody would come out, and then we went to the brick and mortar. Everybody would come to that. It was good.
Yeah, nice man. Actually, talking beer, what are you drinking lately? Is there any new brews or anything that you're kind of excited about?
Right now, I'm drinking this 404, the number of the beast,
No, yeah, nice.
from Atlanta. Very great beer.
Hmm. What do you normally go for? Like more hoppy beers or dark beers?
This
Like,
is from Little Cottage, by the way. Sorry.
yeah, that's cool.
Uh, I'm a stout person
Hmm.
first and foremost, but my love for beer really started with the Belgians.
Hmm.
That's like still my favorite. I thought beer was disgusting until I met Bill from Exit 13, and when I went down to do a recording session with him, and he was a super Belgian beer nut, and he opened up his refrigerator, and it was like, wow, like all these bright, vivid colored labels and like illustrations.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Want to try one?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't really like beer." He's like, "Oh, well, this doesn't taste like what you think beer is." Well, I
Yeah,
had a sip with this beer called Stillnock, and it changed my life. I was like, "This is beer? Okay, I'm in." And I've been nuts about beer ever since.
yeah, that's cool. Um, well, you're in for a treat in Australia, man. We're pretty spoilt for choice with breweries over here. I think, especially in WA. Man. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to Farrell Brewing years
Yeah.
ago when we went last. That was really special because I went to Farrell Brewing and I also took a tour of Brady Drums, which was incredible. I've never seen something that cool in my life.
That's
It was
awesome.
like two or three guys. Everything was done by hand. I switched to drums, by the way. Sorry about that.
That's
And it
okay.
was the
Yeah.
most craziest thing I've ever seen. There was literally in the backyard behind the building, there was a giant tree they would shave down and it like make the layers for the shelves. Everything was completely handmade. It was amazing. The finishes were incredible, and the drums sound amazing. I don't own one because they're very expensive, but it was really really great. So
Yeah,
the Farrell Brewing and that stuck out to me,
yeah, that's cool.
and
We'll
I
talk.
like Coopers a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Keeps is a nice
Yeah,
drink for
I
sure.
prefer Coopers to Foster's.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, not many of us drink Foster's Ale. It's this big Aussie drink that we don't drink. It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, it's like
strange.
the popular. It's like the American Budweiser, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Talking drums, what's your like go-to set for when you're on the road? Like, is there a specific kit that is for taking out? Like,
Yeah, I'm an SJC player these days. I made the switch about 2 years ago. I played Trick for about 20 years, and then I just like they're all metal drums. They sound really great, and they were getting heavier to carry around the older I get. And well, to be honest, I just needed I needed something new in my life. I needed a change, so I went from metal to wood, and I had two 22 by 14s, kind of thin, kick drums, like I tried to go the bottom route, but 2 inches smaller, and they have all that punch and attack, and they sound great. And SJC are really amazing people. I'm really happy to be playing their drums. The drums sound fantastic, and they care so much. They get back to me every time I get a hold of them or I need something. It's pretty amazing. Very lucky.
Oh, that's cool. Um, I saw you went on tour UK earlier this year playing with Venomous Concept. How'd you get involved with those guys?
It never happened. We didn't
Oh,
go.
there you go. Okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so yeah, sadly it didn't go.
Oh, okay. Do you think you'll ever play with those guys? Like you must have a connection there or something, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we're working on a record together. We started recording it. The drums have been done for like 2.5 years,
Yeah, wow.
and then once we get back from this, I think I'll go down to Atlanta and start help mix it with Kevin.
Cool. That's great, man.
And it's cool. It doesn't sound like anything like any of their records. It's more like a space rock record. It's pretty weird.
Okay. So it's not like the Good Ship Lollipop at all. The style's different to that.
It's closer than that than the grindcore stuff. There's no grind on it at all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you want to make a space rock record? And I'm like, yeah, sure, because I love those guys. They're great, and it was good opportunity. I've always wanted to do something with Kevin. I've known Kevin forever,
Hmm.
so I was really excited when they asked to do that.
That's cool. And that's exciting. When do you think we might hear some of that? Like how far away do you think it might be?
Who knows?
Sure. Yeah, fair enough.
We
Yeah.
don't even know where. We don't even know who's going to put it out. We
Yeah.
just did it,
Cool.
Hopefully sooner than later. It's cool. I think it's a great record. It's definitely
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, excellent.
Sounds great though.
Cool. What else have you been listening to lately? What kind of bands?
Well, I like this band Crumb a lot. Our last tour, I finally find their vinyl. That was pretty cool. Listening to the new Madhu Makbar quite a bit. King Gizzard's actually coming to town
Right.
in August when we're home, so I've never seen them. I'm excited to see them.
Mhm.
Man, there's so much stuff. I like to be getting into the OCs a lot,
Mhm. Yeah, cool.
but I think the band. Let's talk about Australia for a minute. AC/DC is my favorite band of all time.
Yeah, cool.
And I love Donny Benet. Donny Bay. I saw Donny Benet twice already this year in the
Mhm.
States. He's one of my favorites. The band is smoking. They're so great. God, going to see them is great. They're so great. The band's killer.
Yeah.
And he's a really funny guy. Writes good songs. Uh, Rupture is always one of my all-time favorite Australian bands. And there's this smaller band called Erupt that kind of blew my mind. They put a 7 inch out a couple years ago, and it really took me by surprise.
Cool, cool. So have you visited the Bon Scott statue and the grave over here?
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. Our first time there, we walked in a big group, and there was the caretaker. He was kind of doing something. He looked up, and he was like, "He's over there in the back." He knew me while we were there. It was a very funny situation.
Yeah, that's cool. Um, so do you have any other new music coming up from any of your bands? Any other new records?
We've been talking about making a brand new Brain Tankles record a lot recently, and man, I'd love to make another Publicist UK record. We've had the second record demoed out for like 4 or 5 years, but who knows what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
So the Venomous concept and the Brain Tentacles will be more likely, and I'm hoping Waste and Morbicon will get around to making a record, hopefully this year. That's just in my brain now. We haven't really talked about all that stuff, but in my brain, that's that's what I think is going to happen. But it might not. Who knows?
And you've been putting out music for a while now. Obviously, Municipal Waste has been 20 years as well. Do you think the way you guys deal with labels and put music out and stuff, has that changed much over those years?
How so?
I guess with technology and the way people listen to music and stuff like that, like has that affected the way you guys put it out at all, do you think?
I guess there's different marketing, things in place. Like I guess these days you release 3 songs in advance, and then the record comes out and all that stuff, and then you do 2 years of touring cycle for it. So that's kind of normal. But yeah, I guess like numbers for streaming stuff are really important. I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but I guess it's really important. But luckily, we've never stopped we've had lulls in our touring agenda where we've taken some time off to do other things. Like this year, an example, like Morbicon went out and Bat went out and Tony did some RKL stuff. And, it's good for us to like disconnect and do our own thing every once in a while, get our rocks off, and then come back to the table. Because I'm a firm believer, like when you go do all that stuff or all that other stuff, you come back and you have all these other, things in your toolbox to work with, which could be applied to municipal waste. But back to my dogs are freaking out.
Yeah.
It's a thunderstorm.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess just like lots of touring and man, I totally got sidetracked there.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
I'll be honest.
That's so good.
It's not too different, I guess.
Mm.
Just going out and working it as hard as you can live. That's what we've always done. So.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, you're hitting Australian shores again very soon. I'll be at the last show in Perth. You guys
nice.
enjoy playing Oz? Yeah.
Yeah. I think the last time we played Perth, we played Extortion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we did a house show with them too, which was really great.
Cool.
Yeah, because we found out when we got there that the show we were playing wasn't all ages, so we had a day off and booked a house show.
Yeah, nice.
And it was so much fun. It was great. It was super cool. Oh yeah, let me speaking of that, all ages. Found out these days, when you ask labels and touring and all that other stuff, we're fortunate that more young people keep coming and coming as we get further along in what we're doing. So we're extremely lucky that more and more younger people are paying attention and coming out to the shows, which is awesome because it only fuels our fire even more. That connection with the crowd, the volley, it's like the most important thing to us. So when they're feeding off that and throwing it back, we have a great show, and it makes everything way easier.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Look, Dave, thanks heaps for your time. I better let you get to your dogs, so they're all right.
Well, thanks, Ben. It was good chatting, and
yeah, you
I'll
too,
see
man.
you tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure, man. Have a good one. Thanks a lot.
All right, cheers, man.
Cool.
See ya.
The Municipal Waste shows are not far away. Ticket details below. Another great touring show that I think everyone needs to go and check out is I Hate God, supported by Goatwhore. Two excellent bands touring the nation. You got to get there. Tickets below for that one too. I caught up with Sammy from Goatwhore, and yeah, we get into it. Here he is. Sammy?
How's it going, man?
Yeah, good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Ben. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, good. It's bright and early over here in Australia.
Hi.
Yeah. So are we talking to you in, is it Louisiana? Is that where you're based?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Cool. And obviously Goatwhore's hitting Australian shores very soon, which is exciting. But yeah, that's cool. I wouldn't mind going back to the 90s to start us off, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool. So, obviously, Louisiana in the 90s, there was a lot of excellent metal going on. You guys, with Acid Bath and everything, and then Kilgore, all that stuff. When you were starting out playing, were there plenty of opportunities for shows at home? Like, was there a pretty buzzing scene going on?
Not really. I mean, it was kind of more like a DIY scene that was happening. Everything that was going on back then, everybody just kind of, there was only like a handful of bands that was actually out touring and doing stuff, So, I mean, back then, the scene was good. The scene was sick back then, it was great. But, it was more kind of underground in a way as well,
Yeah.
But the scene was like really, really crazy back then. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So 91, Kilgore with yourself and Zach, yeah. What happened 97 to sort of change it to become Goatwhore? Like, because that was sort of the origins of it, right?
Well, it was the thing that me and Zach had with Kilgore started in like 91, the early 90s or whatever. It was more of like something to do when I wasn't busy with Acid Bath,
Yeah.
And I just so happened I was living in a small town in Louisiana, at the time there wasn't a whole lot of people to really jam with, and I came across Zach Nolan, and we just started creating this insane music, and basically from 97, it just started. It started taking on a life of its own in a way, and it was like we should maybe start taking this a little bit seriously rather than just getting together every weekend and just making a bunch of noise, So then me and Zach we started off with like, well, let's try to find a bass player. That's the first thing we should probably do. And then with the bass player came a second guitarist, so that worked out really well. And then we had a full band, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, that's cool. I imagine, Goatwhore's played countless massive festivals and that sort of thing. Are there any shows that stand out in your memory, like over the years?
Man, there's so many, dude. It's like, you're talking like almost 25 years of doing this, Man, there's so many, as far as like the festivals go, which ones were really good that I could remember that just were like mind blowing were like the Ozfest. Those were fucking insane. If you would have told me when we started that Goatwhore would be playing Ozfest, I would say you're full of shit. Yeah. So I would have never thought in a million years that would have happened. And we've done it a few times since. But those shows are just, that's more people that I've ever played through in my life ever again. You're playing in front of 30,000 people or more than that, sometimes.
Yeah, that's cool.
So those really stick out in my memory,
Yeah, for sure. And Darkness and Decay, you're playing drums and guitar in that one, yeah? A bit more of a thrash crossover thing. Have you always played drums as well, mate?
No, I don't play drums in that band.
Oh, okay, there you go. I misread that. Yeah.
I program the drums on that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
a virtual drummer.
Yeah, cool.
But,
okay.
but I think for the next recording, we're going to try to get a real drummer for the. I think we're going to start working on that maybe next year.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because you had the 3 tracks last year. Yeah, will this be a longer release, or are you looking like another EP or something?
Yeah, I think we're just going to release EPs from here on out, just because it's quicker. It's quicker to get them out, instead of writing a full-length record and taking forever. We're just going to record, just write 4 or 5 songs and just put them out as if we finish them,
Yeah, cool. Is that the same for Goatwhore? Because Angels Hung from the Arches of Heaven, that was 2022. Are there any, are you thinking EPs for Goatwhore as well, or?
We're not interested in really doing an EP per se. We'd rather put out full lengths.
Okay. Yep.
And we're actually working on that right now. So hopefully next year we'll be in the studio and start recording the next record.
Yeah, nice. That's cool. Awesome. And I saw you playing a Celtic Frost tribute band as well. Hey, Morbid Tales.
Yep. Oh yeah.
That's cool, man. So who's playing in that with you? How'd that sort of come about?
It's myself, a Christian, and Speed from Heraklion, and Ben from Goatwhore actually sings in that as well.
Yeah, cool.
But it started off where we played the Heraklion a couple of times, and Speed's just a phenomenal drummer. And Speed is all about the old school fucking metal. So I was just joking around with him every time I would see him. I was like, man, we're going to start a Celtic Frost cover band. And he'd be like, we just laughed. Yeah, okay, whatever. Then a friend of ours had a t-shirt printing shop here in New Orleans. They got hit by a tornado. So they were doing a benefit for his shop.
Okay.
And then I just approached Speed and I was like, hey, so let's do this Celtic Frost tribute band. Here's a list of songs. Let's learn them and knock it out and see what happens. And then it just fucking spiraled out of control from there,
That's cool, yeah. I like too, it's cool to see cover bands for a band that's not playing, that's a cool thing, I think,
Right.
Yeah. So is Morbid Tales your favourite Celtic Frost, do you reckon?
The album?
Yeah.
Actually, my favorite is To Megatherion.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, cool. Um, outside of Celtic Frost, what have you been listening to these days?
Oh man, I've been really liking this band called Spirit Possession. I
Oh, yeah.
believe they're from Portland, Oregon, or somewhere around that area.
Okay.
That shit's pretty nasty. I like it. And
Yeah.
just just shit here and there. There's a band from Australia actually called Ulcerate that just released a new record that's
Cool.
fucking phenomenal. So I've been
Yeah.
listening
Cool.
to that a lot. I think it's Cutting the Throat of God is the name of it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and that's some real good stuff right there.
Yeah. Nice.
So I mean, I just listen to stuff periodically here and there. I
Mm.
try not to listen to too much stuff because I'm a really impressionable person. So if I
Yeah.
start listening to too much of one band, I'll start writing stuff that sounds too much like them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, cool. Um, talking writing, Goatwhore's been together for decades now, and this current lineup's been a long time as well. Do you think the way the songwriting and the way the band works has changed much over the years?
Not really. It's just unfortunately, people have to go do their other things. As far as being in this band, there's no hard feelings to anybody that was in the band in the past. They left for their own reasons, and it was never a bad reason. Just life happens sometimes, unfortunately. But I don't really, that was the main thing when I get a new member is that you almost have to be a way that's not really going to change the way things are, or we're four easygoing guys, and that's how I like to keep it.
Mm.
And as far as like the writing goes, anything, the only thing that's really changed is that I came out of the dark ages, for lack of a better term, and oh shit, did I lose you?
No, I got you. That's
No,
cool.
all good.
Yeah.
I came out of the dark ages of writing music on a little cassette recorder, and I started writing music in a computer, which is a lot better and it's a lot more efficient.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that really changed, Which
Yeah.
actually it was a good change.
That's cool. And so when you're writing, like obviously you're writing stuff, do you write with the band as well?
Yeah, I mean, what I normally like to do is come up with an idea and try to take it as far as I possibly can on my own, and then present it to the rest of the guys and let them, let them see what they might see in the song, because an artist painting a picture, he might be like painting this picture and thought that he was going to use red in this spot. But then someone else came in and said, why don't you use blue instead of red right there? It's the same idea.
Yeah, that's cool. And writing for this new album, have you got I don't know, like a sound change or something in mind, like that you guys want to achieve with this next one? No.
Nope, it's just going to be completely fucking chaos on the next one. Just heavy, evil fucking metal. That's it. That's the only. There's going to be no change into going into more of an artistic direction.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be full out, cut your throat fucking metal.
Fantastic, man.
Business as usual.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. Obviously, the Aussie show's coming up. How long's it been since you guys were here last?
I think the last time we were there was like in 2017.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so
nice.
It's been a little while. It's been too long, if you ask me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, cool. And what kind of set list can we look forward to? Have you guys been like? How does that work with you guys? Do you kind of chat because you got such a massive catalog to pull from,
Well, I mean, I think being that we haven't been there in so long, I think even like the record before the last one, we didn't get a chance to go to Australia. So we're probably going to pull a lot of stuff from those two records, being that we haven't played those songs in Australia ever. So it's probably going to be a lot of stuff off the new record and the record before that.
Yeah, awesome, man. Good to hear. Cool. Well, look, Sammy, I'll be at the Perth show. I'm very much looking forward to it. And thanks heaps for your time, man. I'll see you soon,
Absolutely, man.
Cool, have a good one.
Late, man.
Thank you very much, Sammy. And now another Sam Bean, Aussie champion, who's been in many excellent death metal bands, but currently is playing in Werewolves, a band which is releasing a brutal death metal album a year for 10 years. We're up to album 5. Here we go. This is Sam from Werewolves on Nightbreed Metal Radio.
You do?
Yeah, good man. How are you?
Oh, yeah. It's just a little taste of life right now. Fucking everything going wrong.
Yeah.
But otherwise good.
Yeah, well, I'll give it. Well, welcome back. Thanks for coming on again, man, to talk Werewolves. It's great. Great to have you back on, man.
My pleasure. Good to see you again. That pit of death metal you got behind you there.
Yeah. So the 5th album, Die For Us, comes out July 12th. The annual albums continue strongly. It's just good to see.
Yep.
Yeah. The lyrics on this one seem both like angrier and funnier this time around. Do you reckon that's accurate? Like,
100%. Yeah. Well, we sort of know exactly what we're about this time. We've still got the same problem that we do, like whenever we do one of these albums, which is like, on the one hand, you do want that line of humor going through it, or wry, cynical humor. On the other hand, you don't want it to be a joke, ha ha ha, sort of like bands. It takes away from those really moments when you throw the anger down. So I think we managed to balance it pretty well this time. The title track, Die For Us, I got to admit, when I was writing the lyrics for that, I was just pissing myself laughing like non-stop. I sort of banged it out in about half an hour, and I couldn't wait to send it over to Matt and Dave, just go, look at this.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I do love it. There's a few more sort of like spoken parts on this one as well. Hey, like this one's for the Maniacs and all that kind of stuff. Just little parts, like.
Yeah. It's to be honest, if there was like something that we were focusing on, like with doing this album, I wanted it to be almost anthemic, kind of like almost like death metal anthems. I don't know, maybe I've been listening to a bit of Bon Jovi or something like that, but something that a crowd would chant. Like, I don't think we'll ever get a crowd chanting our shit, but just in case, I wanted something that was kind of catchy for them to say. So there was, with songs like Fuck You Got Mine, and definitely with the title track, Die For Us, I wanted something, or We All Deserve to Be Slaves, I wanted something where, it was a real sort of fist pump in the air kind of like moment. That's probably what we were searching for. With the previous album, My Enemies Look and Sound Like Me, that to me feels like a really underground album. A real fine-tuned, polished underground album. And if we were trying to just like go up against that with another fine-tuned, super well played, tight as fuck, blistering underground album, we pretty much like do the same stuff like album after album. Let's be honest here. But I was like, there's got to be a small little change, and this time around, that was it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And you got Rock on vocals with a big fuck you at the end of My Hate Strong. How did you manage that? That's great.
Oh, I know, right? When he agreed to do that, we were all like, well, this is obviously the pinnacle of our career. We put this album out, and then we just mutual suicide and stop at album number 5. We got Rock to do a shirt for us. I think a couple of albums ago. He's an artist. He does that amazing sort of like spiky artwork. Like we even thought we were pushing our luck asking for that then. Obviously, we love Sadistic and everything that they're about. And so when he came back and did the design for us, we were kind of like, yes! One of my more proud moments was like coming home and my youngest stepdaughter raids the wardrobe every now and then, and I saw her walking around that house wearing like the Werewolves shirt with the Rock design on. I was just like, you beauty. Yeah. And then I think we were getting around doing we're almost mixing for Die For Us, and I think Dave just out of the blue one day said, shall we ask Rock if he wants to do some vocals? And we were like, you think he would? I know other bands like dream about maybe getting George Corpse Grinder Fisher to donate some vocals, or Dave Vincent to like go for him or something like that. But you know, for us, it's kind of like, no, if we can get Rock to do something, that's it. That'd be fantastic. No. So yeah, we sent him the track, and we just got this like sort of "fuck you" back from him, and we're like, is he just saying get fucked, or was that his vocal contribution? We were like, stuff it, let's put it in the track. Yeah. And we thought it was so good, we put it in twice.
Cool. I read that you wrote the chorus for Spittleflecked Rant while you're in a stone cabin in Switzerland. How did that come about?
Okay, so for anyone who hasn't heard this story so far, this is going back years. I used to live in England, and I went skiing with some friends one time in Switzerland, and they're all crusty punks, like really sketchy guys. And one of them had a Swiss girlfriend who was incredibly unsketchy. Like, it was a very funny bunch. So we're up in this like cabin. You hear Swiss chalet, and everyone thinks, you know, chandeliers and like deer heads on the wall. No, most of them are very basic. It's like a stone building in the snow. If you want like an oven or hot water, you need to burn wood, like in a boiler. It's that sort of deal. Like no internet, very little electricity. So we were there for a week, like up in the snow, skiing, snowboarding each day, like, and you know, we'd do that till 4 in the arvo, and then like just start ploughing beers, and that's just start rolling bifters, and we got into it, and yeah, just no one's sitting on their phones, just living in the moment. And we had lots of paper there, and pen and paper and stuff, so we'd be like drawing or writing lyrics, or like, you know, playing card games, that sort of thing. So I think one time me and one of the other guys, we were just kind of like writing lyrics for a song, and I'd do a line, he'd do a line, I'd do a line, he'd do a line, and that's where the chorus for that came from. But probably the funniest thing about that holiday with those guys, one of them brought along a tattoo gun, and they were all like getting tattoos, and one of them, like, he had a 6-month-old kid, like, who was also there on the holiday, and he lay down on the kitchen table, like, you know, after dinner, and got his face tattooed. And I was the last one, and they were like, "What are you getting, Sam?" And I was like, "I'm not getting anything. I don't have any tattoos." And they're like, "Nah, you got to get something." And I was like, "I'm pretty good." And they're like, "All right, we're gonna fucking come in your room at night, hold you down, tattoo cunt on your forehead." And I was like, "Ha ha ha, you guys." But I also knew them well enough that when I went to sleep, like, I'd push my cupboard up against the bedroom door. I slept in all my gear. I had my boots by the window was unlatched. I had my bag packed like next to the window. The moment I heard, like, if I woke up and I was hearing anyone at that door, into the boots, bag, window, out. And yeah, so it was probably a long explanation to a pretty simple chorus there.
That's cool. The We All Deserve to Be Slaves video, you got the live shows going on. It looks great. I read you described the crowd as impatient and unwilling. Are they not? They're not keen on you guys?
We were getting followed. Like, we were opening for Ingested and Archspire. Like, you know, it's my band, but if I was going to see me, I would have been yelling for me to get the fuck off so I could see Archspire. Like, let's be honest here. They had some like serious shit coming. They're all really cool. That was at the Corner Hotel in Melbourne, and it was a good show. Like, the only tricky bit is, like, do you know the Corner Hotel at all?
No, I don't know.
They got this great big concrete pillar right in the middle of like the mosh pit, and so, you know, I do that spiel like, obviously we've got Rob Brenz, who made the video, wandering around the stage, and sort of like the photographer barrier thing, like with a camera, and I'm like, he's filming us, I need everyone to go spastic and, like, you know, completely go, get into the pit, and like, let's see some shit and all the rest of it. But of course, you're not going to barely see any shit in that pit, because, you know, you've got a concrete pillar crowd killing the fuck out of everyone. So so we got the couple of moments during the half-hour set where people were actually headbanging and stuff. It was a good gig, and it was a great tour.
Under a urinal moon, pretty good pun. Did you guys have any other like black metal puns lined up, or did you just nail it on the first one there?
Oh, that's Matt. Like, about once a fortnight or so, he'll be like, "I've got one," and like he'll send me a pun or whatever. Like he was the one that came up with Beaten Back to Life, and
cool.
also Under a Urinal Moon. He gave me quite a few more, but like I was, again, it's trying to walk that line between, a kind of like a tough, angry band and one that's a bit too jokey.
Sure.
So that's all Matt.
Yeah, cool. So the album cover, it's Mitchell Nolte again, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So how much guidance was given this time around? Like, what was do you have something in mind? Yeah.
A little bit. Like, it's really funny. He always, it says, we always send him the lyrics and, of course, the music and album titles, the whole bit. And he usually asks then for any themes or whatnot, which is always difficult because quite often there are none. Like, we just belt out the lyrics, like, as fast as possible and don't put a hell of a lot of thought into it past trying to make it as ridiculous as possible. So suddenly we're faced with, like, having to artistically justify it, which means making something up on the spot. So he was given a little bit of guidance, but to be honest, the guy rides off, the little bit that we give him and just takes it a few more miles. So one of the things I like about all the artwork he does for us, like, because every band out there has like a visceral, gory, complicated, like, album cover these days. But he usually manages to include a couple of details, like in all his artworks that, are a little bit disturbing. On the album 3, From the Cave to the Grave, it's starting to get hard to remember which one's which, but like there's a pit of dead bodies and a conquistador just like casting a baby sort of like into it. There's a lot going on, but and you can definitely knock yourself out, like having a good close look at all the artwork and seeing what you can find. But that one central detail, he has the hook, and that was that for that one. This one is just like over the top ridiculous, and to be honest, I can't look at it too much. It gets disturbing. But the general theme was people feeding themselves into a large mincing machine and then playing with the goop coming out the other end while being watched by a 3-headed fat tit lord deity with what looks to be like a blood eagle execution behind it all. It's pretty full on. The funny thing is like we had a chat with Mitchell. I was saying to him, "Hey man, every interview I do, someone's asking about the artwork." And he's like, he had no idea, he didn't realize. And he's like, oh, that's cool. And then he just kind of like went, actually, I've been doing this running theme through all the albums. And he kind of like described it. And it was like, shit, it's the most thought that's been put into these albums. And we didn't even realize it ourselves.
That's cool. Are you willing to share what the theme is or not yet?
Oh, God, I'd have to pull up Facebook on my phone and find the text message. But But I think I'll give away a little bit of the theme with the latest one, which is it is almost like the destroyed masses seizing the means of production themselves, production being continuing to destroy themselves, while under the, that's as I said, fat-titted goat lord with a big trunk. Actually has 3 heads, and when I look closely at them, one of them appears to be what was it, a Christ. I can see a crown of thorns. Another one has a trunk, so obviously we've got a Hindu god going on there. Oh, and the other one looks like a Buddha. So some major religions are getting referenced there, and if there's a geopolitical connotation past that, it escapes me.
Yeah. So I saw you're also doing Faustian now, yeah? Like,
yes.
So yourself, Matt, and Dave, same lineup as Werewolves. How did it start? Like, were the three of you just craving, some black metal?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, we had, I think, a 6 months off between albums or something like that. And so we were like, let's make some more metal. But also, Matt and Dave are major black metal heads. Like, me, not so much. and they were kind of like, look, we've found 3 people here who all work pretty fast together, and they were like, you're up for doing vocals for this? And I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I almost sort of did a black metal crash course. So yeah, sort of like I think Funeral Mist was like the band that I started using as my, like, I guess, lodestone. And we tried doing it the same way as Werewolves, where we banged it out pretty quick, and then tried selling it to labels. And I think that was just at the time where, like, we're kind of on the other side of COVID at the moment, and everyone is starting to struggle at the moment. And we probably found that with the record labels like a year or 2 ago, and that was when we tried selling that. So everyone was kind of like, no one's really into picking up bands at the moment, let alone like another, album a year sort of outfit like you guys. The other thing is, unlike Werewolves, like Faustian's really hard to. It doesn't move as fast as Werewolves does. Werewolves, we all very much know exactly what we're doing. Faustian, we're kind of like playing in someone else's, or at least I am playing in someone else's sandpit. And with death metal, I think guys like us doing what we're doing can get away with like a jokey, sort of disrespectful vibe. We've got the cred, we've got the backgrounds. Our resume reads correct for that. Black metal is something completely different, and I know for myself, I'm a little aware that, like, I'm in someone else's like turf when I fuck around with that. So it's very much a lot more trying to find the right tone for it. And plus, for me, it was trying to find how to do vocals for that as well. So we've done that. That was the first album. We self-released it, and there's another one cooking at the moment. And we were all surprised how the first one came out. Again, kind of like Werewolves, we were doing it just to do it, which is probably the best way to do music. And we liked what came out at the end. But what we're doing with that now is much better. Like, probably the demos for it I've been listening to the most out of anything, whether it's my own band or others. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait for that to be done and out and finished. It's exciting. Yeah.
Cool. So, like, with the Faustian, because there's tongue in cheek in there too, right? Like, it's obviously, it sounds like great black metal, but it's that cool mix of, like, I don't know, like 6 months later, little things like that,
Yeah. With those ones, we're obviously calling to, like, the touchstones of it, but we're being witty with the words, but not so much disrespectful or making fun with the words, And I say that even though people listening to some of the songs will go, "Oh, you're quoting from Bohemian Rhapsody there." Beelzebub, as the devil put aside for me. Yeah, so we're sort of like doing that, but that's just more finding a mood, not being smart asses, not being snotty nosed. We're having a lot of fun with it. It was, as I say, it was just really, like, I think I was about 3 or 4 months into trying to do the lyrics for that, and I was saying to Matt, "Fuck, dude, I'm struggling with this," and he's like, "Don't overthink it. Just, here's a few themes, here's a few ideas, just run with it." Yeah. Probably one of the bigger things I was referencing was, like, while doing that was, I've got access to some sort of like old school satanic texts. But I also had a fun holiday in Finland, like briefly a few years ago, with a guy who's, the son of the Finnish are like sort of big time magic practitioners, and it's not something I'm sort of into or have any knowledge about myself. But he had a few texts around like the place, and it was one of the rare times I was sort of like very nose to the glass with this sort of thing. And so there's a few things from that I was just trying to like reference as well, and sort of create, I guess, the beginnings of a narrative. I had an idea while we were doing it that this wasn't going to be like a one-off album, so I've sort of like planted a few seeds so it turns into a big, story for the ages kind of thing.
Yeah, cool.
I hope.
That sounds good. Yeah, that's cool. So you're saying the next one's almost there. Is there any? They're going to be like live shows for Faustian?
Um, I'm honestly not sure. Like the new Faustian's on the way. It's not almost there.
Okay,
Might have misspoken before, but like it's
sure.
like work is happening on it at the moment.
Mm.
Unlike Werewolves, where we'll do 1 or 2 months of work and it's like bang done. Faustian is like months and months and months of doing it at our pace.
Mm.
Shows. Well, I honestly don't know. With Werewolves, like we immediately, got people going. When are you playing this? When are you playing live? When are we seeing a show? When are you doing a gig? And it was kind of like, all right, well, let's do this. With Faustian, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever hear people saying that. And I know black metal, there's a bit more of, I guess there's a greater opportunity to do a band that just does music. You're not the odd ones out if you're doing that. Yeah. To be honest, we've probably got to work on Werewolves shows more than Faustian ones.
Okay. Do you have any other music projects on the go, just in case you're not too busy with all this other stuff?
God, I don't really have anything else. Like, I do a solo project called The Senseless, and I was hoping to do an album for that this year, but it's just turning into a very busy year. I'm still hoping I find the time for it, but what is it? It's June now, isn't it? So we're past the halfway point. The other guys are like kicking all sorts of goals. I think Dave has a national psychoptic tour coming up. I know they've got a few Abramelin shows. They've got an album coming up, so they'll be gigging to support that. So anyone who's been missing them playing for the last year or so, you don't have too much longer to wait. Matt is going great guns with his rock band, Shotgun Mistress, and I think in a couple of weeks they're off to Japan, of which I'm hideously jealous. I love Japan, so he's going to have they're going to have a great time, and I think they'll go down pretty well there. So yeah, last year was a big year for Werewolves, like 2 national tours and a bunch of shows, and supports in between all of that. And I think they're kind of like, we've got to play catch up with some of our other bands this year. So at the moment, we've only got a few shows booked, and that's in September. I think only one's been publicly announced, and that's we're playing a festival in Melbourne called Hell on the Bay, where it's on a fucking boat.
Nice, that'll be good. Yeah.
That's great. It's no escape. Everyone's stuck on there.
Cool. Any chance you make it over to WA with Werewolves?
Would love to, and I've also noticed that the cost of plane flights over there has dropped a bit, so that might raise the possibility of it. But I was going to say, yeah, we always knew this year would be probably a little bit more of a quiet one for us, not only with the bands, but the guys have other stuff sort of going on. Dave's enjoying being a daddy, so yeah, it's a tricky year to really go as hard as we did last year, but never say never. I know I'm keen to get over to WA. There's a lot of people over there that I've been speaking to. We've all been speaking to, and shit, we've made Dicey do laps around the country with us a few times now. The least we can do is go over to his state for once.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. And my last question before there you go, Sam. Where's the next Werewolves album up to? Do you have songs already written for it, or?
Of course. Yeah. Of course we do. Yeah. So, let me see. We haven't recorded the album, but we've got the songs written. The riffs are there. And at this point, Dave's, I think, doing Faustian drums, and then I think Werewolves would be next after that. So, it's for me, it's a little bit weird with albums. There's some albums where I kind of like go, I'm going to have to put a lot of work into this one to turn it into something that I'm going to get off like listening to. And then there's other ones where I'm like, oh, I can't fucking wait to to throw down like bass and vocals on this. It's going to be so sick. Die For Us, the album that we've got coming out, is one of the hard work albums. Like where we really had to like put the nose to the grindstone to make it happen. And the thing I like about it, there's a few things about it that are quite different from some of the other albums. I do know the song Fuck You, Got Mine is a bit different to what we've done before. But yeah, whatever album 6 is going to be, I'm like, I'm already... It sucks that we work so fast because, like, yeah, we've always got this next album in the shoot just as we're trying to promote, like, you know, the current album. So, yeah, we've always got our eye on, like, 12 months ahead. It's pretty sick. It's got some of my favourite material on there.
Yeah, that's good, man. You're halfway there, right? Halfway to the 10 years.
Living on a prayer. Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, look, you know, we're at the halfway point at the moment, and we're always like, we're going to blast through like 10 albums. It's going to be 100 albums, but but yeah, like this year's been the hard one. I think like we've been having to put a lot of work into this album, Die For Us. Just setting up for release has been, you know, when you're in a band, you want as much of it as possible to be like throwing down riffs and then smashing out shows. And with this one, there's been a lot of focus on just like getting all the shit in the background sort of sorted. So we all probably, if you stuck this on a camera together, we all probably look like we've aged about like 5 years, like in the last 12 months. Except for Matt.
Yeah, well, look, man, it was worth it. It's a killer album. I was listening to it today, man. It's really good. I'm looking forward to getting it in my hands, man. Sam, thanks very much. It's been cool to chat again.
Thanks, man. Always a pleasure. Great to see you.
Have a good one, man. See ya.
Cheers, dude.
Last up, the boys from Battlesnake speak to us from their bed. The guys are on tour at the moment. Again, there's a couple of shows left if you're watching this on the day of release, links below. But yeah, they got up early and had a chat with me. It was great. Here they are. These are the boys from Battlesnake on Nightbreed.
Hello.
Hey, man.
What's going on?
How are you?
Good. We're just in bed.
Nice. Beautiful. Well, thanks for joining us in bed.
That's all right.
So you guys played Byron Bay last night, hey?
We did. We're still at the venue.
Yeah, nice. Cool. Oh, cheers for coming on. How was the show, man? You guys have a good time last night?
Yeah, it was fucking cool. It was really cool. It's been like, what, 2.5 years since we've been here, so it was like really nice to have a full room. It was sick.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. We spoke like August last year, and you guys were pumped to have played with like Kiss and the Pumpkins and everything. But you guys just got back from a big UK European tour. Were there any bucket list bands on that tour? Like, it seemed like a pretty huge set of shows.
Well, Amel were on that festival that we played. Well, we played with Amel on the Pumpkins tour, and they were on another festival we played over there. But no, I think there was no Kisses on no Pumpkins on this particular run. But a great time nonetheless.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's cool.
Billy, get on in here. Look at this.
Hey, man.
Hey, look at that.
All right, beautiful, excellent. Cool. So the European tour, you get your crazy kind of stage get up costumes and stuff. Do you get any crazy questions at customs or anything like that?
Oh, at customs. Oh my god, but I don't want to talk about customs. It's actually just so triggering. we were there at like, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning, just like all kind of half asleep in the van, waiting for this customs officer to tick a box on a piece of paper. It was completely fucked. Yeah, but surprisingly, we got our like spark powder and everything through just fine.
Oh, cool. Okay. Good. Do you guys catch any bands while you're away at all, or are you too busy kind of just, shows?
It was pretty back-to-back shows, but we did get to see
Some cool sports.
Yeah, some cool sports. Oh yeah, Congratulations was sick. We had a band called Congratulations who was on with us for our shows, who we absolutely loved, and they pushed us, which was really, really cool. It was really good to see.
Yeah, sweet, man. Were there any crowds that were pretty standout where you guys were like, oh, we got to come back here? These guys kind of switched on and get what we're doing,
100%. Yeah. I think for me, the London show was really special because there was like lots of our friends, and it kind of felt like a hometown show, strangely. And it was sold out, so it was crazy. And then,
that first show in Manchester was really cool. We had a couple of lads that came along. They flew from Northern Ireland to see our show in Manchester, and that was a massive point for us. It was like our first headline show as well, and that really set us on a course of like, oh, that's so cool to see that kind of thing, And we kept bumping into people who were kind of that same level of commitment that we really, really loved, which is sick.
That's cool. And you guys have brought out heaps of great videos since we last spoke as well. The Kia Solomon, a welcome return to the green screen, but much more elaborate this time.
Yeah.
Did one of you guys make those miniatures? They look pretty great, man.
Yeah. I spent like 6 months making all those miniatures to make a shit video.
That's worth it.
Yeah. Painstakingly made them out of carved wood and whatever I could get my hands on.
Foam shit.
Yeah, expanding carved out foam. Yeah, a lot of wood.
That's cool. Do you guys storyboard that stuff, or are you just kind of like, all right, here's the props and things, and let's just put it together?
Very unstoryboarded.
It's fast and loose. But Ben, so our mate who directs it and shoots it and cuts it together, he has a really clear vision in his head, and we'll just keep shooting until he's like, all right, we're done, and we just like, okay, I guess we'll trust you on this one again, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's cool. And the motorcycle video, whose beastly car's under all that alfoil? That looks pretty cool.
My car as well.
What is it?
My car still has like
Alfoil
tape on it that I can't get off.
What car is that? Is that Camry?
Well, beautiful.
That's a car.
2002.
Good year. Good year for Camry.
And there's more fire and sparks. Some of them pretty close to your head. Any near misses or anything?
No. Well, we make a point of it being cold sparks.
Still safe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. The new album, your second full length, came out yesterday. The Rise and Demise of the Motor Steeple. Yeah. Did you go into writing this one with specific sound changes or anything in mind?
No, I don't think so.
I get what you mean. No, if anything, I had before we started writing the record, I had this I listed notes in my phone of what I kind of wanted out of it, and for it to be weirder was the key thing. Yeah. Just get as weird as possible, as weird as we're comfortable with being, and then push it a little bit further and see what happens. But that was kind of my main thing. But sonically, I think we've just been looking for grosser guitar tones. Basically.
It feels like pretty natural development though. It feels like it's not been. We haven't tried too hard to stray anywhere. It's just creating more of what we love creating.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I think it seems more layered, but at the same time, it sounds like you guys. That's cool.
Yeah, thanks.
And then Pterodactyl Firehawk, you got turns into this big EDM thing at the end. That's cool.
That's him. That's him.
It was a bit of a rabbit hole to go down, and I was really happy to have a moment to explore that. And I don't know, it took a bit of convincing. Yeah. I guess when we were listening to it, and then we all just were like, okay, let's do it. And so I just dove a bit deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's actually my favorite track. I actually really like it.
I'm getting PTSD from being in the studio and trying to get through that process of, because we had recorded that chorus, which is now a drum and bass chorus. We had recorded that with the full band and everything, and to get from A to B was Yeah, definitely a journey.
Yeah. No, well, it paid off. It's cool.
Thank you.
Alpha and Omega, that single cover, I think, is probably your best artwork yet, with the cyborg thing with the eyeball coming down. That's pretty great.
That's it.
So, that's the same artist, yeah, like that draws your stuff.
Sam does it all. Yeah.
Very good, man. Is there much of a chat, or are you sort of have ideas like you're like, I'm going to draw this? You know?
Definitely for that the album covers. I always am like intentionally thinking about the album covers, but those single artworks were just paintings I had at home.
That one was one that didn't sell it. So I decided to use it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And this is the storyline kind of lore. I know it's pretty loose, but does that continue at all on this album? Like, you know, the Dungeon Witch is back from the I Am the Vomit video, right? Like,
yeah, good, nice one. You know, thinking,
yeah. It continues.
Thank you for that insightful answer. Excellent. Thanks for the great question and doing your research. It continues.
Yeah, good.
No, for sure. There's definitely. I mean, that's our big intention across everything, is to try and like create this big world where people can get lost in, and you know, somebody discovers us in 5 years, they're going to be like, holy fuck, it's going to be like watching 10 series of, you know, Game of Thrones or something like that. I want them to be able to dive in.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like the Marvel extended universe.
Yeah. Oh, that's wicked, man. And then that track Road Warrior, the American title for Mad Max. You guys Mad Max fans? Like,
Yeah.
Have you seen the new Furiosa? Yeah, the new one.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, yes, seen it.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, it was great.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It felt really different to the first one, which is probably needed to. But it was fucking sick.
Yeah, that was good stuff. And have you guys seen the Cars That Ate Paris? You know, that old 70s Aussie meme?
No. What's it called?
The Cars That Ate Paris.
No.
Yeah, a big recommend if you like cars with a bunch of shit on them. Like,
cool. I'll check it out.
Good. Yeah,
we're watching the car on the way to Brisbane today.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, it's good, man. It's this small town, and they like lure people in to take their cars. Basically, it's pretty great. Elliot, when we last spoke, you said you were moving to London or something. Has that happened? Are you guys an international band now? What's going on?
Oh, we are international now. I moved over there. I've been there for like 10 months, but you know, we've just done that UK and Europe tour, so we're saving a flight that way, and then we're doing another one in September, so saving on another flight there.
Perfect, yeah.
And we'll be doing a bunch of writing while I'm back for this Australian tour, writing for the next album. Just keep on going, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's wicked. We didn't have to wait long for a new album from you guys. Like, it was a year-ish. Does that mean we're not gonna have to wait long for another one? Like,
and hopefully that's the idea. We're trying for sure.
Yeah, wait and see.
I think we got like a lot of creative juice in this band. Literally with 7 people, and we just want to like keep squeezing the lemon until it's dry.
No, that's good, man. Yeah, excellent.
And then we'll find another lemon.
Yeah, good. No, that's cool. Away from Battlesnake for a moment, what are you guys listening to at the moment? What kind of stuff?
Oh, cool. Good question.
I've been listening to an artist named McG in America. This amazing artist he's a guitarist for Dijon as well, and I don't know, he's really sick. His name's McG. He's fucking really cool. Everyone's going up about his like how he makes his music sound like that at the moment, and rightly so. He's really cool.
I've been listening to a lot of Charlie XCX. Her latest shit is really cool. And also the new Northlane EP is great.
And what have I been listening to?
I've been listening to some real outlandish shit.
Yeah, whatever.
Go into your last played or something.
That was my last played. Little Sims.
There you go.
But I don't know. Lots of different. I had listened to so much different shit.
What do we got on here, eh? Gleaming. Oh,
No,
what
the
is that?
playlist.
A bit of Michael Jackson. The June soundtrack, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, a bunch of shit.
Yeah, cool. So you guys got a bunch of shows ahead. I think when we last spoke, you were saying you could make it to WA if there's cheap flights, which is fair enough because it's fucking expensive. Has there been any cheap flights? Any chance we'll see over here at all?
Still waiting for that sale, actually.
Yeah.
Hanging out for that sale. But, we did include, I think, when I last spoke to you, I was saying that we wanted to start including these places, and we did include Adelaide on this run.
Yeah, nice.
So maybe the next
creeping across.
Just creeping across. Maybe on the way back, actually, the way back from the UK would be a better vibe,
Cool. All right.
We can tack you onto our Europe tour.
Europe.
London, Leeds, Bristol, Perth.
Yeah, excellent. Sounds good to me, man. Cool. So you guys here at Brisbane tonight, yeah?
Yeah, at the loft in the valley.
Yeah. Nice. How are you guys travelling? Are you taking flights, or are you got a van going on? What's the deal?
We all fly up here from Sydney and then van it. So the van's pretty crowded. We had, I think, 28 cases that we flew from Sydney. All of our sparks and things. So it just fits in the van. It's a 12-seater van, and then 8 of us sitting. So pretty.
Wow.
It's crazy. I can't believe that we used to drive all the time. We would drive. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like 10 hours in this stinky van packed with gear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Who's the DJ, or you kind of just whoever's driving or something? What's that guy?
Whoever's driving. The two front seats get the control of that one.
Yeah. Nice. All right, gentlemen. I should let you get back to your morning. Thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we'll see you here after that European tour.
Thanks so much.
Thank you,
bro.
Cheers.
And
Awesome,
thanks for your questions. Very good. Very good.
Well, good. Love your work, man. Have a good one. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you dig the new format, and I'll be back in a few days with another long video with a bunch of great interviews with these lovely folk right here. So yeah, if that's your bag, come and check that out. Subscribe for more metal and more of this. Thanks for listening. I'll see you around.